Hello, and welcome to the Liquidity event. We're your hosts, AJ.
And I'm Dr. Schatz.
AJ, aka Ariel of Under the Sea.
And I'm Shane Mason.
AKA an underwater stock option, for those who can't see my costume. For those listening on your podcast app and not watching the video, which you should absolutely be watching the video because we are so animated in person. I am dressed as Ariel from Little Mermaid, and I have 3 stock tickers in my headband that say Posh, Oscar, and Oatly. And Shane is dressed as Dr. Schatz, who is currently filling a syringe full of iced coffee and has a medical mask on. Anyway, this is episode 65. Oh, there he goes. Of the Liquidity event being recorded on Halloween week and airing on Halloween Friday, aka All Hallows Eve. Today, we've got Amazon retention problems, an autonomous driving IPO that may save the entire stock market, student loan forgiveness in jeopardy, Twitter workers are sick of this roller coaster of Elon Musk trying to buy their company, and the computer chip supply chain may be able to stop the recession. How you doing, Dr. Schatz?
Oh, I'm great. I'm a little jet lagged. I got back from Europe yesterday, but I've discovered... All right.
Cheers. You got back from Europe.
Oh my God. She's drunk at the wheel again. All right. So
folks, now I have a soundboard.
We've rediscovered. I discovered a hack when it comes to resetting your clock, your internal clock. If you want to be one of those people that wakes up at 6 a.m, just go to Europe for a week. And when you get back, you'll be so jet lagged, you'll be going to sleep at 8 o'clock and waking up at about 5:15 a.m. So let's see if I can
Perfection.
Let's see if I can keep this up.
Perfection.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a wild week. I just got back from some travel too. I was in Chicago for the National Association of Stock Plan Professionals meeting. So I got to meet a lot of cool people who actually run the stock plans for billion-dollar companies. So a lot of smart people, a lot of cool accounting folks. I saw Third Eye Blind in an intimate setting with 100 people, which was really funny.
You said cool accounting?
Cool accountants. Yeah, lots of cool accountants.
I thought I knew all the cool accountants. Who was Jim there?
Jim was not there. No, I met some new. These are like corporate accountants, though. These are not your personal accountants.
Not new, cool, like not my own. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thought I knew them all.
What are you drinking? Oh, you're injecting yourself with syringes of iced coffee.
Yes, I've been.
I'm also drinking iced coffee.
Lethargy. So I am administering self doses.
Just heads up, this wig is so hot that I'm probably gonna have to take it off in the next 5 minutes.
Wearing a wig under the sea.
All right. Yeah, exactly. We have a new section of the podcast this week. It's called Shameless Self-Promotion, where we talk about things that we're excited about at Brooklyn FI. So the first one is that we're doing something new. It's called a Brooklyn FI financial planning process product demo. How exciting is that? Where we are going to show you potentially folks who want to work with us what a Brooklyn FI financial plan looks like. And the first one is happening this Thursday at 3 p.m. There'll be a link in the show notes. You can just sign up. It's free. All we need is your email address, and you'll hear John, our director of planning, and myself wax poetic about what the hell we do here at Brooklyn FI. What else we got coming up?
What do we do here?
I don't know. Dress up in costumes. And record ourselves.
Yes.
Basically, what do we do at Brooklyn FI? I plan my stupid Halloween costume every year that involves a fictional character and writing top ticker symbols somewhere.
Yeah.
on my body.
I do appreciate that you have a financial themed costume every year. This is my 5th year in a row being Dr. Schatz. It's just too much of a hit with the friends and family.
Yeah, we need a slideshow of my Boba ETF. Shane, Dr. Schatz, 2021. Mr. SPAC, Shane, still Dr. Schatz.
Right.
2022. Underwater stock option, Shane, still Dr. Schatz.
Yes.
Amazing. We also have a really exciting webinar. This is a reprise of the rent versus buy, where John and I duke it out high school debate style about whether it's better to rent or buy a home. The housing market has changed significantly since the last time we did this back in 2020. So I'm excited for that. That is Friday afternoon, November 11th. That's at noon Eastern. So you can also sign up for that at brooklynfi.com/events. Thank you for allowing us some shameless self-promotion.
That is a big understatement to say that the housing market has changed a tad since 2020, I must say.
Understatement of the century, perhaps?
I wouldn't say of the century.
A real Sophie's choice?
I would say that all equities are fully priced. I don't know. So that would be a great opportunity. I might drop in for that one as well.
As a third contender or as a spectator?
Just a spectator. just have a couple drinks.
Shane's like, I'm living on a boat. Y'all are doing this wrong.
Yes. What are the marina fees on this house you're speaking of?
Oh, my God.
How much is ice at the dock house? You got to factor that in, AJ.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Cool. So,
all right, let's transition into some actual articles.
Drunk at the wheel, y'all.
I'm going to need you, speaking of the wheel, I'm going to need you to take the wheel for 5 minutes while I change out of this costume because I'm about to die. So
no, you have to wear it all the way through. Those are the
no,
rules.
I absolutely cannot.
You can't wear it for 5 minutes. You're not going to
Take it away. Tell us about Amazon's hiring problems.
All right. And she's gone. It looks like we have an article here from Engadget, who acquired some private details around like Amazon's attrition issues. It looks like they have an exclusive around Amazon's attrition costing the company $8 billion a year annually, according to leaked documents. And apparently it gets worse as well. I learned a couple of things from this article. I'd never heard of the words regretted attrition versus unregretted attrition, which is just a silly negative version of the first word, I feel like. Apparently, workers that leave on their own accord, or wherein that they didn't want to leave, I guess Amazon regrets that attrition. And unregretted attrition is definitely from the perspective of the employer in this case. Unregretted attrition is wherein they fire the person. So,
right.
For a sense of scale here, that $8 billion is a fairly large number of their $33 billion net income that they post every year. But of course, Amazon is a famously low net income company as compared to its valuation, which is at a cool 1.1 trillion as of today's article writing. So that $8 billion only represents 3% of the net worth of the company, so to speak. So maybe not as big as you think when you look at it from that perspective. Also considering how fast their net worth increases every year. But also, obviously, $8 billion is the GDP of a small island and the bigger than the top line revenue of a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So interesting.
Indeed. Yeah. Amazon has 1.6 million workers, right? So they have a people problem. They might also have a process problem. So this article goes into goes in on this thing called Consumer Talent Strategy Management and Development. This is a team within Amazon, shortened to CTSMD. I'm not sure that acronym is actually any easier to say than the actual department.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, this is a department within Amazon that's responsible for training and developing talent strategy. There's 615 people that work in this department, and some of the papers and basically internal reports that this journalist obtained basically are saying that there's almost $1 billion being lost each year by this department. And there's really not a quantifiable metric within Amazon, a company famous for quantifiable metrics and supply chain and logistics. They don't have a good handle on training and keeping their people. So I went in on this article. So definitely, if you're interested in HR and employee retention or anything like that, check out this Engadget piece. Very great journalism. I guess if someone hands you a secret report, all you gotta do is write about it. But still, great narrative here in this piece.
Yeah, really. You have a chart here, actually. Top 5 or top ranking companies by revenue. I was surprised to see Walmart at the top of this list of ranking by revenue. Oh, yeah. Obviously, when it comes to market capitalization, there are much.
Sorry, quick correction, Shane. I actually ranked it by number of employees.
Oh.
Is how I sorted this chart.
Well, fuck me
but
then.
Still, yeah. But still, either way you slice it, Walmart's revenue is bigger.
Maybe you should have done the chart explanations.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, interesting. Walmart has.
Well, I was just, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just that Walmart has 2.3 million employees, and Amazon has 1.6 million employees. So they're still about 500 or 700,000 behind.
So what's really interesting, this is just the Wikipedia largest companies list. And you can actually sort this chart. And it's not here because I grabbed a screenshot. But if you sort by not number of employees, but revenue, Apple is either number 3 or 4, and they've got less than 200,000 employees. So basically, Apple is coming to eat these kind of like these expensive, Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, FedEx, these top 5 employee numbers. They need lots of bodies to pack boxes and check out folks and stock shelves. Whereas Apple, software company, needs far, far, far fewer employees per to run the business. Of course, they have manufacturing costs and all that, but an interesting observation there. So basically, build a software company and you'll win the day. Is my takeaway there.
Right on. Speaking of workforces. Okay, I'll have to get used to that, I guess.
I'm going to get bored after this episode, don't worry.
I sure hope so. It's very jarring. No. Yeah, keep it rocking. Yeah, this is a perfect segue. That's a perfect sound bit for the Supreme Court rejecting the to block the... All right, I'll just let you do the introductions and the segues now.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry, that was just the evil laugh intro. That wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Well, yes. So we were all excited about student loan forgiveness, basically up to $20,000 for certain borrowers, $10,000 for many borrowers. And the Biden administration opened up the applications to apply for student loan forgiveness earlier this month, I believe. But there have been some challenges in court. At first, there was a Supreme Court challenge that was struck down. But our legal system is confusing and messy. So unfortunately, 6 states, that would be Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and South Carolina. Disappointed, Shane, not to see your home state of Mississippi here on this list. These states filed a lawsuit arguing that the federal relief program would hurt state-based loan companies that manage some of the loans themselves. Basically, states trying to delay and block this process through whatever legal means they possibly can, scrub together. But the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, has said, we're moving full speed ahead, so be ready, we will be ready to deliver relief to borrowers. So proceed with your applications. They'll hopefully figure it out in court. Any idea how the legal system in the United States works, Shane?
I have no idea. Injunctions, appeals, grand juries, depositions, discovery, etc. These are alien terms to me. I really can't wait for these states to lobby a petition to stop the cancer vaccine when that pops off, because of all the administrative people that will lose their jobs because there's so much fewer cancer patients out there. Just looking forward to people's true colors.
Getting shown.
For the sake of corporate profits, we have an incredible system here in the United States.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out for a second, I was looking up the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona from Connecticut. I was just checking out his bio. And it's so interesting in our day and age to be I was almost surprised that he had a 2-decade-long career actually in public education, because he seems actually pretty well qualified to be the Secretary of Education for the United States. He started as an elementary school teacher, worked his way up, ran school districts, put a lot of programs in place in his home state of Connecticut really quickly. During COVID, he set up some emergency FAFSA forums online. So he's got this really robust resume in times of crisis, how to help kids, stay in school thanks to our public education system. So all to say, I'm glad that we have some good people in the cabinet who actually appear to have experience with the department that they're in charge of running, as opposed to the last administration.
So this is the final boss of principals, is what you're telling me. This is the principal's principal.
Yeah, this is when you go to the principal's office and you act out in the principal's office, then you're going to Cardona's office.
It goes all the way up the chain, up to the final boss. And he paddles the hell out of you, this one. Do you remember the principal?
Speaking of the final boss paddling the hell out of you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, moving on.
No, that's great.
You got one more?
No.
You got one more?
I was just going to ask if you remember any of the school principals that you had to deal with.
What I'm going to say next should not surprise you at all.
No, you never once had to talk to the principal.
Correct.
Yeah. Must be nice.
Anyways, speaking of horrible bosses, we've got our Elon Musk, everyone's favorite evil supervillain, back in the news. I don't know if he actually came out and said this. I think it was in a document that got leaked that he plans to reduce Twitter's workforce by 75% once he is in control of the company. According to a new report, he's going to cut around 5,600 jobs. He thinks that Twitter can run in a much leaner workforce, and we'll see what happens. I think the deal is supposed to go through on the day of this airing of this episode. We should see the Twitter deal close.
I think it's the 28th. Oh, the airing. Yes, you're right. Yeah, this Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Today, if you're listening to this, I think he's just saying this to please investors. Frankly, I don't think he has any actual intention to lay off 70. He's got a big enough PR issue going on anyway. But you do need to talk like Gordon Gekko to get certain things done in the corporate world. I'm looking forward to Twitter being private. I think that'll be very helpful for the whole company, the whole organization, not having to deal with public numbers, et cetera. So, and pleasing Wall Street in general. They've had a rough run over the past 10, 15 years. The stock price has been flat, absent this $54 share price to purchase the whole company.
I hope so. I think that maybe there's some threats of certain people who have been kicked off the platform returning to the platform and being given a bigger voice. I hope that doesn't cause major harm like it did the last time.
Well, I don't think whether they're public or private financially, that'll change anything.
Perhaps we shall see.
Do you think that if they remain, they're going to be a private company either way, so it's not like they have a choice here. But do you think that that's going to impact Elon's decision to bring Trump back on?
I think, yes, I do. I think without public shareholder scrutiny, I think that he will be able to do more of whatever he wants. And I think economically that will negatively impact Twitter.
I would argue the opposite. Having somebody with such a large following on Twitter would be very good to support its stock price.
But don't you think the large following will alienate so many folks that they may stop using the platform altogether? For example, what we just saw with the Adidas and Kanye West parting of the ways, that was sort of public outcry that forced a company to make a very negative financial decision, in favor of that person saying very hateful things.
But I would argue that people never used Twitter as much, and it helped grow the user base because Trump was on the platform.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I would like to see the numbers.
Oh, all right. I mean, I don't have the numbers, but I just feel like
agree to disagree.
I think that's just obvious. You don't think so?
Did more people use? I don't think so.
You think that more people dropped off of Twitter because Trump was on there instead of just silencing him or blocking him?
I don't know. I think a lot of people left Twitter and went to other outlets because they didn't like the engagement.
I don't know how you would. What other outlets that he's not on? Instagram?
I mean, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the other alternatives.
Oh, he's all over Facebook. I don't know. Does he have an Instagram? I've never seen him on Instagram. That is definitely not his platform. What?
All right. Well, let's move on.
All right.
So we have some positive market news today. As of this moment, it's positive. Mobileye, a company that we've talked about before, which makes autonomous driving technology, relisted for the second time on the public markets. They were spun out of Intel, and they so far just shares began trading today. Trading opened at $26.71 a share, which was over its IPO price of $21. So finally a big fat IPO, other than these like little tiny SPACs and microcaps. They raised $800 billion. $800 million, almost $1 billion. This is exciting news for IPOs. I'm excited. This is exciting news for the liquidity event. Any potential takes here, Shane?
No, I think it's lovely that we finally have a successful IPO not finally have a successful IPO, but a nice successful IPO in Q4 so far. This bodes well for companies going public throughout the rest of the quarter and into 2023. I am curious why now was the time for Mobileye. I don't know what that is, but it being up almost 25% in early trading is fantastic for the employees at Mobileye. Hopefully they have liquidated at least a material amount of their positions in their company. I don't know what the blackout period dates are. I don't think we don't have any employees going through this IPO. So we have not looked behind the scenes yet.
Not at the moment. Yeah, because they would have had Intel stock, and now it's getting converted or swapped. We'll figure it out. We'll look into it. So yeah, if you're at Mobileye or we're at Intel and now at Mobileye, come on down. We'll help you understand what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said before, an additional any funding heading towards self-driving cars is fantastic. I'm not sure we've discussed this previously on the podcast, but as soon as maybe Mobileye can help us figure out how a autonomous vehicle can take a left turn, maybe this $800 million will solve the left turn problem, which, if the listeners don't know, apparently is the main reason we do not have fully self-driving cars right now, because they can't take a left in an intersection.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Can't take a Louis.
Yeah. I was talking to my buddy who's the CMO of a robotics company, and he says that every day he goes in and like the engineers tell him the problems with achieving certain goals, and he's just always like, wow. It's like such a simple thing that
the robots can't do.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that human beings are incredibly good drivers. We're actually great at driving. Like the amount of accidents that we have as compared to the amount of hours that we spend on the road are actually quite low. I mean, we hear about it being one of the most dangerous things that you can do, but I don't think we do that many dangerous things as a species anymore, which is really cool.
Right. Right. And a lot of like fatal accidents are, due to road conditions, slippery things or, bad weather or
driving at night,
traffic jams or driving in darkness, et cetera. Your car acting up, et cetera. Interesting. Yeah. So Mobileye itself, I dug into a little bit about the company. So they make the chips, right? So they don't make the cars themselves, right? They make mostly the chips and they sell them to the car makers and help them actually integrate the technology into whatever model car they're working on. So their biggest customers are BMW. They have partnerships with Ford. There's this Chinese automaker that I hadn't heard of that has a huge market share in China. Yeah,
Boo,
exactly. Boo.
What was that? Was that a gong?
Suspense.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's the suspense button.
Wait, no.
No, the gong. No, it was not a gong.
Would have been the worst audio. Could have slipped in there.
So they have this IQ Ultra chip that's going to be ready by the end of 2023 and then ready to roll out in 2025. I always don't you ever feel like impatient when you hear these, like when we talk about electric cars? Like with the Rivian IPO, they were like, we're going public and our cars are going to be ready in 2028. I'm like, that 2028 feels so far. Like I realize obviously research and development takes time and money and the IPO has to happen first. We can get the money to do the R&D, but I'm impatient. I don't want to wait till 2025 to see this chip implemented in the cheaper Ford, truck that looks really cool that I want to buy.
I know. I'm ready to pull the future forward myself. I'm ready for the little robots to go down into my bloodstream and fix my cartilage in my knee and all that fun stuff. And I'm sure you could use a little blood work yourself there.
I've got a robot inside. I'm good to go.
For those that don't know, I'm referencing AJ's defibrillator that is permanently inserted into her chest and sits upon her heart.
Love robots.
Due to her mitocardial...
Nah.
Oh, I can't get it?
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Oh, yeah. I started from the back.
Started from the bottom, now we're here, whatever works.
Might be. I'll get it one day.
Someday. That's okay. What else do we have here? I don't want to talk about cars anymore. I'm bored with cars.
All right. You want to talk about existing home sales?
Sure.
The real estate market. Speaking of, circling back to our comments earlier.
Speaking of beating the dead horse, automobiles and cars. We've got this CNBC article. Existing home sales fall to 10-year low in September as mortgage rates soar. Those mortgage rates are soaring high like an eagle. What are they, 7% right now? You want a mortgage with good credit?
Yeah, I think so. Close to that. I'm really sick of all the memes about people locking in 2.6% interest rates in 2021 being like the advanced users, the smartest people on the block.
Yeah, congratulations. You had a bunch of cash and you beat out other offers.
No, it's just not the whole story. No, I mean, good for them. Like, I'm glad that you have a home and you've got the interest rate that works for you. It's just not the whole story. Like if you got a home at 2.6%, that means that the people you were competing against also had a 2.6% home loan rate home loan rates. So it just increased the demand for homes and thus increased the, supply wasn't going anywhere. So, and increased the price. So sure, if you got a 2.6% rate on a $700,000 house versus a 7% interest rate on the same house priced at $450,000, that price never changes, but you can always refinance your interest rate.
Right.
So
that's true.
That's why you're seeing
I think
home sales drop, because I don't think that the amount of homes being sold has dropped, because there's the people that didn't sell their homes when the prices were up there that are now like struggling to sell them at the prices they were anchored to, the all-time highs, so to speak, the high water mark. So I imagine they're now running to get out the door before they come even lower and lower and lower. But I don't know. We'll see.
Right. So, we're down 24%, this time last year, but last year was an all-time high. Right. So we're down a little bit. I think what's really squeezing people is that, housing prices aren't coming down in the same way that rates are going up. Right. So what's interesting too is if you think about it, like, okay, so maybe your house isn't selling at that price you were anchored to that it was listed at in February, or that you saw on Zillow in February, but you weren't ready to move. Like, if you're selling your house, you got to move in somewhere else and pay that 7%. So fewer people are actually listing their houses because they don't want to buy in this market either. Like, maybe it's not quite the amazing sellers market it was a year ago. So that's why more people are staying in their homes. We don't have enough houses. There's not enough housing stock. That's a problem that we've had for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, the true GOAT here in terms of coming out on the top are those that invested in rental real estate in, say, 2010 and sold their house in 2021 or early 2022 at the high water mark before interest rates started to come up.
Yep, that is true.
But that's too difficult to express in a meme. So that's why you don't see that in a meme.
Indeed. So, there's like this issue of like housing stock. Like, why don't we just build more houses? Like, well, it's expensive. It takes a long time. There's a massive national shortage of general contractors. I'm looking into the general contracting as a profession.
I knew you would say that. I could see you doing that. You would really like it.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I'd be good at it.
Yeah. Integrator,
and
COO, operator. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah, you need a high school degree. You have to have 4 years of experience in the building industry, so I got to get that first. And then you got to pass a few tests. Like, I'm
just you doing tile
I'm ready
work
for a pivot.
McMansion.
I think I would love that.
To get the knee pads on. Just you start your way from the bottom. Oh, my stethoscope fell off.
Oh
no! Can't hear the beat of the podcast anymore. Oh, you want to end on a high note? Talk about Taylor Swift.
I don't know if that's a high note, but sure. Taylor Swift has a new album out.
Wow. Are you throwing shade at your girl?
This album sucks. I'm sorry, Taylor. I love the single. Antihero is incredible. I listened to it nonstop for the past 48 hours, as I'm sure many other Swifties have. This album is weak. It's boring. It's a close twin to Reputation, which I think was weak. I really liked her. I really liked Folklore and Evermore a lot more as a rock and roll fan. So
wow.
Do better, Taylor.
Sound like a true Fairweather fan. Unlike me, always been T Swift till I DIE. Keep going, girl. Got you.
You like this album?
For sure. Yeah. I've listened to it.
You've listened to it?
Front to back. I got the deluxe pre-order.
Are you upset that there's a song called Shane's World? There is not.
I can't tell if this is... Yeah, I was like, wait, I don't remember that track on my first 4 listen throughs. But, I got to consult the liner notes.
Anyways. Any no-brainers for us on your international trip recently?
Yes. I was going to do a Halloween no-brainer.
Okay, great. That's great.
Pick a costume and wear it every year.
And stick to it.
It is very satisfying.
The cartoon character Halloween costume where you just are always wearing the same thing.
Yeah, it's just very satisfying to know something in advance and to not just cut down on the decisions you have to make. What you got?
Speaking of which, why don't you read out our canned response?
Yes. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Liquidity Event. You can email us at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. Send us some no-brainers, please. We always need those. You can leave us a voicemail and we will play it on the air. We are updating how that's done. Looking forward to making that easier on you. Show notes are available at brooklynfi.com/episode 65. And you BKFI stands can leave us a review on Stitcher or iPodcast.
See you next week, folks.